Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I've just done a sort of analysis on this place compared with the other one, the previous one. First of all, the other one was cramped, but there was a bonus there because it had a jungle feel about it. It was very easy, providing the extractor and inlet fans weren't running, to actually get the humidity up. The humidifier only had to be on for like half a minute and it could change it from 50 to 70, you know, so this is a much bigger airspace. That means that it stays more constant. Now the sun's just gone in now, but the first thing I've noticed is on a sunny day with intermittent sunshine, so when it comes and goes, that's about, well, that one reads high. Yeah, this one's closer. That's sort of around normal now. So 23-24 degrees C and around 80% humidity, which is good. That's a good growing environment. If that temperature dropped down now to 20 degrees, that humidity would rocket up above 90. This morning when I came down, we had a bit of a chilly night and the humidity was reading 95. Now that's too high, I don't want it. I don't want it like that. But there's not a lot I can do. Because it's relative humidity, the amount of moisture in the air doesn't change. It's just the reading changes depending on the temperature. The warmer it gets, the more moisture can be held, so the reading drops. It's just one of those things. That's the way it's measured. But yeah, it's looking round at long ago records, which I've only got one of, so that it's not historical and progressive. It's just a snapshot. Most of the warmer growing Dendrobiums, the Latoria types, the Phalaenopsis types, the black hair types, all of those that need to be a bit drier in winter, and you have to gauge that to the temperature, to your minimum night temperature. The cooler that is, the drier they need to be, because they're warmer growers. And in previous, round at the other place, by mid-March, my daytime temperatures with the sun were up 27, 28, 29 degrees. So my heat came earlier round the other place. Now I've got some plants that have just remained static for a while, and I'm just looking round today. This is Dendrobium alexandrae, so a Latoria type, and that's been sitting doing absolutely nothing for ages. Well, I've now got a new growth. Yeah, the one next to it that's been sitting there doing nothing, and that is Roy Tokunaga. I've had it a while, put it in a clay pot, then it's promptly done nothing. Well, that's got a nice strong new growth and a new set of roots coming. The Rhinantheras, this one's grown a root. Well, that's probably due to changing the pot it's in, so the plant stays moister now. This one's got a new root coming, and another one down here. It's also losing some lower leaves, but they do that, Bandaceous types. So there's things are on the move, but they're late, very late. Now this one has failed. This one's only got one leaf left. This is a Phalaenopsis type, and it pushed out a new growth, and I thought, oh goody, because it had lousy roots, virtually none. Pushed out a new growth which has just failed. Now I don't know what that's going to do now, but it started to grow some new roots. I presume if that new growth fails, it will try again from the base of the same cane. I assume that. I don't know. So yeah, there's some progress, there's some things starting to move, but they're 2 months late, which means their growing season is shorter. So I think certainly on some of my Dendrobiums I can expect shorter canes here, and we may not get the monstrous canes that head up towards the ceiling. We might not get those, and big monsters sticking up like that. We might not get these in the future. And the other one that's obvious was the was the Victoria Regina with its cane almost double the size, which now has a kiki with no roots that's here. Again, pretty big. You gonna come off? Yeah. Yes, so things are now becoming obviously different. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I don't know how much that's going to go on. Now, I haven't had a good look at my motley bunch of Cattleyas up there recently because I've been using the sprayer. I haven't got them down, which is probably bad news for the Cattleyas because most of them have still got some scale on them and they haven't been handled for some considerable time. So they're going to need I'm going to have to deal with those. Now that's tomorrow's job, is to do the Cattleyas and sort out the feed in the Vanda bucket and get the Vandas a good soak, because recently they've only been sprayed. Yes, so things are different, and they are quite different. Now I know that my light level is better here. Now that should be good, but without those earlier temperatures, mid-March, pushing the temperatures up, those temperatures and the day lengths trigger plants to grow and do things. And I don't think I've had that trigger anywhere near as much this year. The longer days, yes, but temperatures remaining pretty constant at their late winter, very early spring levels. So I think, things are going to be different here, and I'll get used to it, I presume I'm going to be here a while because I've just had the agent round demanding rent with menaces and signatures on new contracts. And that's as a consequence of me phoning them up and saying, isn't my rent due? Oh, I don't know, is it? When did you move in? They're supposed to know these things, aren't they? As an agent, being paid by the landlord to look after stuff. Anyway, having queried, is my rent due? It was, I knew it was. They hastily drafted up a new contract for me for 6 months, but with 2 3-monthly payments rather than 1 6-monthly payment, which I just feel more comfortable with. That's a hell of a sum of money to fork out in one go. Anyway, so agent came round. I've signed all 3 contracts for the next 6 months, and I mentioned to the agent I forgot that this is a renewable contract, so I could have been kicked out, couldn't I? He said, oh no, we've got to give you 3 months notice. I'd forgotten that as well. I'm not used to this renting lark. Yeah, so I've done that. The other good news this week, my car was due for its MOT. I put it in for its MOT and it passed. The only advisories were that the discs are starting to show signs of wear, not excessive, and they're only advisories, so it's still passed. And I said, the guy that does my work, who organised the MOT, he said, when the pads are worn out, we'll do the discs and the pads all together, because it saves an awful lot on labour if you do the whole lot all at once. I said, how much is that going to be? He said, on a Volvo, a lot. I said, what do you mean by a lot? He said 400 or 500 quid. Well, to get a complete new set of discs and pads, which is like a brand new braking system, over a 2-year period with wear and tear, that doesn't sound that bad to me. So yeah, so quite a bit been happening. And the distribution of the monies is still on hold. So to pay my rent, I'm going to have to borrow against it, which we're not supposed to do. Legally, we're not allowed to distribute the money until all debts have been paid. And I'm still waiting for that council tax bill. It's outrageous, really, if you think about it. This is the local authority. They get paid out of our money. Yeah? And they're supposed to do a good job. They're supposed to be accountable, etc., etc. We all know all about it, don't we? Yeah, they come in the morning, talk about Coronation Street, do the crossword, wander about a bit, get a coffee, go out in the car park and have a cigarette, and by the time it's about 11 o'clock they might actually start doing some flipping work. And then there are those that are working their whatnots off, I suspect, especially as they're all short-staffed. Anyway, still haven't got the bill. If I haven't got the bill, I can't pay it. And this is a bill from an early notification of a house sale for the 6th of May. And what's the date now? And I still haven't had the bill. Which is weird, because normally when you owe them money, they're on it like a rash. As opposed to when they owe you money, you can whistle for that. Anyway, it's sort of holding things up, but it isn't really. Like I said, I've borrowed a bit against my share to pay the rent. And I think my sister's going to have to do the same thing, because she has an annual finances thing with a financial advisor, where if she's got the money, she pays a lump off of her mortgage, and she wants to do that this time with the full amount, which makes very, very good sense. But obviously she won't have that in her bank account, because we haven't shared the money out yet. So she can borrow. As long as I keep records, it's not a problem. So we shall see how it goes. It'll all sort itself out soon as well. It will be soon. If I don't get this council tax bill soon, I'm going to go down to the office and stand at the counter until they print it off, and I'll pay it there and then on a card, because I'm getting fed up. Anyway, we need Cattleyas to be looked at to find out, have we got any new growths? Are we recovering from the rent issues, from the root issues? They don't pay rent. I think they should, but they don't. You know, and just have a general look round. We've got two lots of Cattleya types. We have this lot, which is a single shelf, and there's one other that I bought recently, hiding down here. That's a Cattleya that I bought recently and still hasn't been repotted. The new growth is starting to produce some roots, so that will come round for its repot now, basically. So we'll deal with that. And the other Cattleyas are all mounted, and there are a few Cattleya types, don't forget I'm saying. You know, so going along here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. There's more than that. There's more. There's another one. There's a Laelia up there, 7. So we've got 7 mounted so far, and I'm pretty sure is there one round here somewhere? Perhaps not. But oh yeah, here there's another Cattleya type, or Brassivola type, which is in Cattleya Alliance. So yeah, there's 7 or 8 mounted Cattleyas on top of those in the pots. And down here we have things to be thrown out. Now there's a Cattleya in there, so that's one less. There's my Sotoanum that just refuses to grow, and there is unfortunately, a Dendrobium black hair type that's had no leaves and no new growths for a long time now. I've had enough with it, right, quite honestly. The roots were very, very poor when it was potted up, and it's never recovered, quite honestly. It's just never. So those 3 are to go. Not to go to someone else, to go to orchid heaven, basically. Oh, and unfortunately my nice new Cymbidium is going. Well, in a way it's good, because it can go outside. You know, it can go outside and do its thing for the summer. The other one's out there, you know, so it can get rained on. And every time I fill the watering can up with some food for my bonsai, they'll get fed. So, you know, it'll get fed and watered, but it'll get outside. The other one is in a position, it's just outside here. It gets 0 sun there, but it gets incredibly bright light. Now I might try and find a place where it can get some like late evening sun, or some I haven't got anywhere that gets early morning sun now, thanks to that hedge and that monstrous wisteria. No sun gets through there now. It used to, not anymore. Oh, this is something, I doubt if I'll be able to film it because it comes and goes, but out here, there on the water, these are baby sparrows with the wings flicking, asking for food. And there's 2 families of sparrows that are here nearly all day now, so there's often quite a few youngsters, and that's the adult female on the fat balls there, that's the male, and the youngsters are often just lined up on that sort of rack over there waiting to be fed, or they sit on the top of the feeders. And there's some young blue tits are starting to get around now, so yeah, the youngsters are getting about. And quite honestly, they sit there and the cats are no more than 2 meters sat there watching them, and they don't take any notice of the cats whatsoever. Could they possibly know that my cats are old and don't move so quick anymore? Oh, I don't know. Nature's a funny thing. So anyway, changes here. Things are working differently. That was expected, but had to be found out, if you see what I mean. And I do have half of this roof now. That line down there, where the where the thing starts and the slope starts, that's where the sun gets. It's coming up over the house for a period of the day, not all day. The other one used to get sun from 11 in the morning till it's set, and in the summertime that's a lot of sun and a lot of shade netting and a totally different light and atmosphere. So but yeah, the sun is on that half of the roof, and when it is, and it's there for the whole period before the next door's house blocks it, it is actually getting up to 27, 28 degrees. I've just noticed a friend that I might have to deal with, because Hannah will go do Lally. You can do without that really. That's quite a large one. I'd say 2.5 centimetres across. And I don't like the things, but they don't do any harm. That's the sort of thing, and I'm all right as long as it sits there. If it moves, that may be its end. It's the movement that I don't like. There's another one right up in that corner, but that's only a little one. Yeah, so when I first came here to look round, there were 3 or 4 that sort of size out here, and I didn't get rid of them, but I haven't seen them. That's the first of the larger ones I've seen since I've been here, since that first viewing. So but Hannah wouldn't come out here if that was there. She wouldn't have anything. She's really dislikes them a lot. Anyway, so some changes. It's not dramatic on the grounds. There's nothing I can do about it. At the end of the day, if things are going to start growing later because my day temperatures take longer to get up, to get going, and show that the difference that's needed to do the triggers on some of the growth and in some cases blooming, there's nothing I can do about it. That's how it will be, and over time I'll get used to it and it will become normal. At the moment it's not. These new growths on hopefully some Cattleyas when we have a look tomorrow. I've got a care collab to do tomorrow, but that's going to be short and sweet. And I'll probably, as I've got to water the holy clay pot type Cattleyas tomorrow, I'll probably film that so that we can have a look over them and see what's going on. We haven't looked at them for quite a while, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, changes. Differences. They're not really changes, they're just oh, there's more Cattleyas up here. I forgot these. There's a couple up here as well. Yeah, so there's probably more mounted Cattleyas than there is in pots at the moment. And some of them aren't doing bad, and some of them are doing absolutely nothing. Some of them haven't had a new growth for a very long time. And again, it would probably not only be the longer days, but the warmer daytime temperatures that would trigger that. So yeah, things are different. Just have to get used to it, I suppose, and we'll see how we go. But, trying to document it as well, in video form, these sort of changes, it could help other people that move from one environment to another, because it's a little unpredictable. You're never quite sure how your plants are going to react. Because you're never quite sure what those differences are going to be. You could move from Canada to Florida and take your orchids with you. That's a bit different. Day lengths, humidity levels, temperatures, everything changes when you do a move like that. You could be moving from, Texas to Mexico, or Texas to Peru, or there's all these sort of things. They have a major effect on what you're doing, And if you move from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere, you've got major changes to deal with, because everything you take with you will be out of season, and it will take a while to kick back round the other way and treat spring as autumn and autumn as spring. So yeah. Anyway, I've got to get going. It's coming up to, well, it's not tea time yet, but it's thinking about tea time. Does that make sense? See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.